Thank you for that introduction. Erik, we'll proceed to you. Just state your name and the organization you're here on behalf of.
Housing Investment Trust. I'll share a little bit of background on the trust and our position on this bill. We're strongly in support and grateful for the opportunity to be here alongside our partners in Neighbors Welcome Rhode Island, the Rhode Island AFL-CIO. Okay, could everyone hear the first part too? Okay, good. So a bit about the trust. The AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust is a $7.4 billion social impact mutual fund that invests union pension dollars in the construction and rehabilitation of affordable housing built with 100% union labor. We enthusiastically support the Residential Reuse Incentive Act, a thoughtful piece of legislation which will address several urgent policy priorities that Christina touched on. Boosting Rhode Island's supply of affordable housing for essential workers, such as teachers and nurses, and all workers, in fact, through the environmentally sustainable repurposing of vacant properties, creating high-quality careers in the construction industry, and attracting responsible pension fund capital to the state, all of which will catalyze equitable economic growth. HIT is prepared to invest pension capital to make the residential reuse program a success, and our track record provides proof of the positive social impact of this model. The AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust has its roots in the civil rights movement, specifically in a conversation in the 1960s between Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and AFL-CIO President George Meany about how union pension fund investment can be used as a tool to promote equal housing opportunity and address the housing crisis of that time. 6 decades later, the AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust and its subsidiaries have invested $11.6 billion in 630 projects all across the country, creating 131,617 units of housing, $51 billion in total economic benefits, $6.9 billion in tax revenues, and over 215 million hours of union labor. And I will note that approximately 67% of those units of housing are affordable units. This model of impact investment, which you see reflected in the Residential Reuse Incentive Program, does not just get housing built, it lifts up entire communities and drives equitable economic growth. In doing so, it provides a holistic model or a holistic solution to the affordability crisis by creating affordable housing on the one hand and ensuring that the workers involved in building that housing can themselves afford a place to live. We can look around to see places where this model has worked very, very well in nearby states such as Massachusetts and New York. In Massachusetts, HIT has invested $876 million in 45 projects with 5,405 units of housing, 95% of which is affordable. In New York, HIT has invested $2.2 billion in 80 projects, generating 45,444 units of housing, 91% of which is affordable. I will also note that that investment generated $426.6 million in tax revenues. These investments, because the work is done right, workers are on the books, they generate tax revenues for local and, of course, the state and federal governments. Policymakers across the country are realizing that these are the kind of results that our communities need. And many states are creating programs to catalyze similar impact. For example, last fall, the state of Connecticut created a $50 million program under HB 8002 to catalyze union pension fund investment in union-built affordable housing. That project is already drawing strong developer interest, and we look forward to a pipeline of projects that will provide the housing and jobs Connecticut needs. In 2022, the state of Nevada created a similar program as well, using its recently established $75 million state infrastructure bank. In 2025, we made our first investment ever in Nevada, providing $30 million of HIT's capital to leverage a $7 million state investment and build 208 units of affordable housing in Reno. And I'm also proud to share that late last year, the State Infrastructure Bank committed $25 million to build 1,350 units of affordable housing, redeveloping a golf course in Las Vegas into the largest affordable housing development in the state's history, which we look forward to financing. The positive impacts of deploying union pension capital to build affordable housing are undeniable and very clear. And ensuring that the workers themselves who build affordable housing can themselves afford their rent is basic common sense. I would be remiss if I did not mention the other side of the coin, which is the negative impacts that come with low wages in the residential construction industry, in the non-union side of the industry. It is a bit of an open secret that there are labor standards issues in this sector. A recent national study estimated that 1.1 to 2.1 million construction workers are misclassified as independent contractors or are paid off the books. That creates costs for taxpayers. The estimate is 5 to 10 billion in unpaid Social Security and Medicare contributions, payroll taxes, overtime, unemployment, and workers' compensation payments. That study estimates Rhode Island's share of these costs at $59.5 million per year. There are additional costs. Low wages mean that workers are pushed onto public assistance. An estimated 39% of families in the construction industry are enrolled in one or more social safety net program. A study found that this externalizes an estimated $28 billion in costs onto the public every year through provision of social safety net benefits such as Medicaid and SNAP. The bottom line is that in an environment of uncertain federal resources, government cannot afford to subsidize developers and contractors that do not create high-quality jobs in our communities. We also know that there is a much better way, which is evident in the AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust's track record. We would be proud to partner with government, labor, and the private sector in Rhode Island to create union jobs and affordable housing financed with union pension fund investment. Thank you very much for your time.